Let me maximize this screen here. How do I do it? There we go. Okay. Now you're gonna see me here soon.
Okay, no problem. Hopefully, there's a little bit of background talking. Hopefully, it shouldn't be too bad.
Here I am. So Kimberly, thank you for making the time to meet with us.
For inviting me.
Yeah. We are with. We are doing a wellness event. We do this once a year, about this time for about a month, and we bring in various speakers to talk about health and wellness, weight control, diet, exercise. So today we have you on to talk about your experiences. Before we start on that, can we have you introduce yourself, give a little bit of background on yourself?
Okay. My name is Kimberly Mills. I am a former teacher, retired from teaching 22 years, and now am working as a personal trainer as well as some other part-time work and a nutrition coach as well. About 7 years ago, I went through a health transformation after a lot of health problems for about 13 years and lost 90 pounds and completely changed my health then. So that's why I'm helping others now in their path towards health and wellness.
We saw your before pictures. Can you talk about some of the health problems that you were having before you made the changes?
Yes, well, I had from the time I was about it was around 1995. I just started. I was gaining weight. It was post babies. I have two boys, and I just kept gaining weight and gaining weight. And I did the diet roller coaster. Go on one fad diet and lose weight, gain it. Did that for about 13 years, and as a result of that, I started having issues with high blood pressure, borderline hypothyroidism, reflux disease. I had H. pylori, which is what leads to ulcers, and I have had numerous undiagnosed gastrointestinal issues as well that they tried to diagnose through. I've had multiple colonoscopies, endoscopies, MRIs, all kinds of things. I've also had hysterectomies, and so by the time I was 48, I was on 6 medications a day, 2 to 3 times a day, and I decided I'd had enough.
Wow. I mean, that's a lot. I mean, that's a lot worse than I even thought. Was there a single event that made you decide I got to make a change? Any single one thing, or was it just a whole bunch of things piled up?
A lot of things built up, and a lot of stress from my health issues, stress from things at work, as far being a teacher in a Title I school. It was very stressful, and some personal stress, family situations. And so the one event, about 2009, I woke up one morning and just started bursting out in tears, just crying. It's just like all the stress had built up, all my health issues had built up, and I didn't know. I just started crying. I didn't know what I was going to do. I just wanted to go back to sleep and not wake up, but I knew I wouldn't do anything. But what I did do was call my doctor immediately, talked to a nurse, and she even offered to come pick me up to bring me to the doctor's office. I said, no, I'll get there. I just need somebody to talk to. Went to the doctor's office, and I was literally there for 4 hours. They were coming in and out, talking to me, making sure I was okay. I did get prescribed temporarily antidepressant. She just wanted to help get the edge off and then work on getting some, personal counseling and things like that. Um, it was at that point too, especially after I finished taking the medication about 4 months later, that I needed to make some changes in my life if I was going to avoid that happening again and to get healthy.
Now, you mentioned that you've been on the diet roller coaster, like many of us can identify with. Um, what was different this time around that you didn't repeat the roller coaster?
Okay. Well, the biggest thing that was different is instead of saying, okay, I can't eat this, I can't eat that, just all the restrictive, all the different restrictions they have on these diets, or the diets that want you to go on less than 1,000 calories. One of the first things I did was just focused on my plate, what I was putting on my plate. I decided I needed more protein. As a lot of women, I wasn't getting enough, um, and a lot more veggies on my plate. Um, and I just decided, I'm not giving up pasta. I love my pasta. I love my potatoes. I wasn't giving up potatoes, but I could have smaller portions. And I started eating on a smaller plate. Now, just because I didn't restrict a lot, there was a couple foods that I decided that were trigger foods for me, foods that I ate way too often, and I could sit down and I'll just have a few chips, and then before you knew it, the whole bag was gone. It was that way with chips. It was with fries. When I went, about 4 or 5 days a week, I'd go to McDonald's just to get supersized fries and a Diet Coke. So one thing at a time, I just decided, okay, I'm going to temporarily um, avoid chips for a while until I get to a point where it's not trigger food for me. And then I added French fries and then a few other things, but those were my biggest triggers right there. And so after a few months, I could go to the Mexican restaurants with my friends and still not want chips and stuff like that. And to this day, it's been 7 years now. I can eat chips. I can eat fries. I don't overeat them. But I basically don't want them. I don't have the same taste for them. I don't crave them anymore. I can eat 4 or 5, and it's like, yeah, okay, they're not that appetizing. They're not as hyper palatable to me now as they were then. But basically that, and just basically changing habits, 1 to 2 habits at a time. Um, and working out. I joined a gym, which I had done many times before, but this time it's stuck. They had a personal training staff. I got a personal trainer. I participated in their team weight loss program. So just working on building my fitness, building my strength, and working on my dietary habits. I was able to be successful this time, and I have maintained for 7 years.
Well, that's really great because maintenance really is the hardest part. It's not really the lost part, right?
Is.
But that's really interesting that you identify certain foods that you realize you don't have control over, and rather than telling yourself, "I'm going to have just a little bit," you just cut it out completely. That works better for you.
Yeah. And some people it is, for some people maybe it is that they just try to eat less of them. For me, I just decided it was more important to just, I knew myself. I knew that I can't eat just 4 or 5. So once I got to the point where I knew that I didn't want them anymore, even though I could have them, it was a more successful approach for me.
Okay. So talk about some of the exercises that you started doing. Did you do a lot of cardio or weights, or what suited you?
Okay, well, I started working out at the gym I signed up for. It was a brand new gym at the age of 48. And the first 3 weeks before the weight loss program, the weight loss class started, which was an exercise class with nutrition coaching. I did what a lot of ladies do. I got on the treadmills, I got on the bikes, I just did all this cardio. I wasn't going over to the machines or to the free weights. And about 3 weeks into it, I thought, okay, this is going to be like every other gym I joined and quit because I get tired of just doing the same old thing all the time. And I knew I needed to build strength. So I walked to the personal training desk, hired a personal trainer, and from there, I did a combination of cardio. In fact, the class I was in, it was more of a cardio class with some weights to it as well. And then my personal trainer helped me with training routines with free weights, some cable machines, but mostly free weights. After a while, it took me about 6 to 8 months, where I lost all my weight. And I continued to work with a personal trainer, though, because I loved the aspect of strength training. My first trainer, as well as my second one, really pushed me and challenged me to do things that I never thought I would do. My first trainer got me to start running. I never ran. Even as a kid, I hardly ever ran. And so he got me running. he got me to do my first 5K, and from there, I became an athlete for the first time in my life because I started doing competitive running, 5Ks, 10Ks, half marathons. After a while, I did, well, after my fourth half marathon, in which I had done 3 in 1 month, because I'm crazy like that, something I was, again, never imagined. Um, I got interested through some friends on Facebook, Jen Sinkler and others, Roger Law, and started powerlifting. Started lifting weights, not just strength training, but lifting to compete in powerlifting competitions. Um, Deadlift, bench press, and back squats. It's like, again, that was a new challenge. It was outside the box for me. I wanted to try it. And I got a new trainer who was a powerlifting coach and started competing in powerlifting at the age of 50. I'm now 55. I've been in 7 competitions. I've won state records and as well in Missouri and Kansas. And so
Now
one thing
for
that the strength training, sorry, one
sorry to
thing that
interrupt.
strength training did for me was is not only make me stronger physically, but mentally and emotionally as well, which has helped big time with the stress and my health.
Right. So for people who may not be familiar with powerlifting, what lifts are involved in powerlifting?
The 3 lifts are the deadlift, the back squat where you have the barbell on your back shoulders and you squat below parallel, and then the bench press. My favorite of the 3 being the deadlift.
What are some of your personal bests in those lifts?
My personal best in, well, in competition in the deadlift, it was 265. It's
Wow.
265 pounds. And actually, since then, with a trap bar, which instead of the straight bar, I have a trap bar at home, and I've actually lifted 295 with the trap bar. For my bench press, it was 125, my competition best, and my
Wow.
competition best in the squat was 175. Although since then, I have done 185 personally.
Those are some really impressive numbers. Great job with that.
Thank you. Yes, again, I'd never imagined
Right.
that I would become an athlete at 50, 48, 50.
Right. So how did that transition from being an enthusiast to it being a career? How did you transition into personal training?
With my second trainer, one of the things, because I could only afford to do once a week training with him, and so sometimes sometimes he would give me 2 other workouts, down on paper to do. After a while, as his clientele kept building and building, it was harder for him to do, so I asked him to teach me how to develop an appropriate training program. Because I didn't want to just go do random exercises. I wanted one that's going to help me build strength and everything. So he taught me how to do that, and I started making up my own workouts. And at the gym, people would see me doing them and come over, and it's like, I really like that workout. And then after a while, some of them started saying, can I work out with you when you come and do your workouts that you put together? And so I had about 6 to 8 people doing workouts with me, and the personal training manager is like, okay, Kim, they can train with, they can do the group thing with you, but we got to be careful not to say that you're training them because,
Right. There's
they have
liability issues and
rules and stuff like that.
right.
But yeah, so I had a lot of people training with me doing my workouts with me really, and I've had a lot of trainers and a lot of other people saying, you need to start training people, or the people that worked out with me say, I want to hire you if you ever get your training certification. And then my powerlifting coach, he actually, about a month or 2 after I started training with him, he offered me a job as a trainer at his gym. And so that's how I got started in personal training. And then once I did that, I also got my nutrition coaching certification through Precision Nutrition.
Okay. So it was just a natural progression, it sounded like. It wasn't anything. It was, you didn't have to force it or anything. It just came to you.
Yeah. And I had a lot of people telling me it's something I should do. So, and
Yeah.
I enjoy doing it.
Right. Now, talk a little bit about, I've seen a lot of pictures. It seems like one of your favorite exercise equipment is this funny ball with the handle on it. It looked like
Kettlebells, yeah.
kettlebells. So what do you like about kettlebells? I think a lot of people haven't seen those things.
Oh, I have one in my car. I should have brought it in here with me. Basically, it's a round iron ball, although at some of the cheap sporting goods stores, you can see sand, ones filled with sand and odd shaped ones. I go for the real RKC kettlebells that are just like look like a lead cannonball with a handle. I love it because it's just another very effective way to work your body. I use all kinds of weights, but I love the kettlebell routines. It's really good to get a full body workout with them through kettlebell swings, Turkish get-ups, which is a very complicated but very good exercise. And just you can use just like dumbbells, pressing and rows and things like that. So um, it's just a very effective but fun way to get a whole body workout in.
Right. So once you started training people, what did you notice as the most common mistakes that people make when they try to lose a few pounds and get healthier?
One of the biggest mistakes is that I think they try to do too much all at once. It's like, okay, I'm going to quit this, I'm going to quit this, I'm going to quit this. I'm going to, just go to work. I'm just going to go work out every single day without giving themselves recovery time, things like that. And so they're just trying to do too much all at once, and it tends to set yourself up for failure. Just like when people join the gym in January, and all of a sudden by March, a lot of those people are gone
Yeah.
because they're trying to make too many changes at once,
So
and
all
that's
or
why
nothing.
it's better to do gradual changes.
Yeah. So it's that all or nothing principle, or that mentality that causes people to trip up then.
Yeah, and I think another thing too is too many people put so much focus on the end goal. This is what I want to be 120 pounds, rather than focusing on the process. I stopped worrying about what weight I wanted to be and just started focusing on, oh, I was running. That was helping me. I was getting, I was competitive running and I was placing high in the competitions. Um, with the weightlifting, I was getting medals, I was getting records. So focusing on what I was doing and how I was progressing, was not worrying about the end, the end point. The end point came without me even thinking about it. So that just focus on the process is what I like to tell my clients,
Very
and
interesting.
then the end point will happen.
Very interesting. So, going by that principle, it would seem to indicate that there's no magic exercise, but maybe it's a matter of finding something that you enjoy.
Exactly, finding something you enjoy, but taking yourself outside, allowing yourself to go outside the box a little bit and challenging yourself. Um, I had the privilege of having a couple of coaches or trainers that it's like they would show me an exercise they were going to have me do, and I'd give them the deer in the headlight look, and it's like, okay. But then I do it, and it's like, wow, I really can do that. I didn't think I could. So for example, the Turkish get up. That was a big deer in the headlight. But anyway, so I just lost my train of thought. I got so excited.
It's okay. Actually, what I want to do at this point is maybe open up the floor for some questions, and then we'll go back and talk about what services you offer and where people can find you. So, do people here have any questions for Kimberly? Any, I don't know, thoughts you have, what you've been working on, something like that? Or have I asked all the questions and run out? Come on, there's got to be like 30 people here. No question?
Actually injured yourself during powerlifting?
So the question is, can you repeat?
Have you injured yourself during powerlifting?
Did you hear the question? The question
No, I
is,
didn't.
have you ever injured yourself while powerlifting?
Uh, Not necessarily in competition and stuff. Did have this shoulder issue, um, in which I did tear my rotator cuff, but it was actually lifting very lightweight, something that a weight that was not hard for me, not hard for me at all, not very challenging. It was a warm-up weight. So, but as, 55-year-old or 53 at the time, we do have a tendency as we age to get those, have those issues. And so the good thing about it is that I had the surgery because it was a complete tear. I was bench pressing, but again, a lightweight. But I healed very quickly, a lot quicker than my doctors thought I would. The orthopedist was just like astounded. The number one, I really didn't need pain medicine past 3 days after having 5 screws put in my shoulder. And just the time it took me to recover and be able to get full range of motion was in like half the time. So that strength helped me recover a whole lot better.
Right.
There's always going to be some kind of injury in sports, but again, you work on safety and technique and stuff like that. Um, and also the doctor thought there was a tear that I had previously, probably from quite a long time before I was in powerlifting, that just gradually got better. I mean, bigger, and then it just, that's when it decided to just totally tear. Actually, the two muscles, infraspinatus and supraspinatus, basically pulled from the bone once the older tear, had gotten large enough. So, but I recovered well, and I'm still lifting and doing great.
Yeah, it's interesting because every time I hear about some people saying, "Oh, I tore a muscle, did that," and when you ask them, usually it's not a real heavy weight. When people tear biceps, oh yeah, I was using 15-pound dumbbells and I heard a rip. So it's seems maybe not, the weight related. It's having proper warm up, and sometimes you have a previous injury that didn't fully heal, things like that. So,
Yeah, definitely.
any other questions? Does anyone have a question? Hand up? I thought I saw a hand up. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is it better to use lighter weights from a weightlifting standpoint and repetitions, or heavier weights and less repetitions?
Okay, we have a question here regarding weights, the intensity and reps. So is it better to use low intensity light weights for higher reps, or is it better to use heavy weights for lower reps?
Well, my workout programs that my powerlifting coaches did for me, it was a combination. We had max effort days that was higher weight and heavier weight and fewer reps to help build strength. And then there'd be more dynamic effort days with lower weights and more reps to help build the muscle. So it's kind of a combination of both. So when you go heavier, you do fewer reps, you gain strength. When you go lighter, you do more reps, you build the muscle. So they kind of work together, actually.
Right. I think there was a recent study from Brad Schoenfeld showing that as long as you're taking a light weight to failure, you could have as much muscle growth as something heavier. So, there's that aspect. But, okay.
Another thing I'd like to say real quickly that I want to make sure to get out is that everybody says, well, this way worked for me, losing weight, getting healthy. This way worked for me. There is no one perfect way or one best way, but one best diet to lose weight. You've got to, and that's one of the biggest reasons for my success. I found out, instead of some guru telling me, you can't eat this, you have to eat less than 1,000 calories, I found what worked for me through the nutrition, through the exercises that worked for me, the combination of cardio and strength, and not just doing all cardio and all Zumba classes.
Right.
Or, I just finding the path that worked best for me that I could maintain long term.
Yeah. So as women, they shouldn't pigeonhole themselves into just doing Zumba and aerobics. I see more and more women doing powerlifting and having a lot of success at it.
And I don't have big bulky muscles even after
Right.
7 years of lifting. So
Right.
I have muscle, I have strength, but I don't have man type muscles like a lot of women believe happen. It
Right.
really doesn't unless you're a bodybuilder and you're purposely trying to get that huge muscle tone.
Right. You don't suddenly wake up with huge bulking muscle. That happens after many months and years of intentional training and nutritional intervention to
And
get there.
it was meant to a lot of supplementation.
Right. Right. Anyone else have any other questions? I think people are heading back because their time is up and they need to get back to their desk. But to wrap up, if you want people to take away from this talk just one thing, what would you like to have them remember?
Again, it's not quick weight loss. It takes time. Again, change small gradual changes for long-term maintenance, and then again, what was it? Just finding what works for you.
Right.
Just because something works for one person doesn't mean that everybody should be doing it.
Right. Right. Okay. Thank you very much, Kimberly. I'm going to send information about your Facebook page and contact information to the people that attended. And can they contact you by email and maybe ask some questions and see what services you provide?
Yes, they can contact me by email, which you said you'll send to them, and
Yep.
also through my Facebook page, Fit Possibilities, through the messages on there as well.
Great. Awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. We really enjoyed your talk. It was very informative, and I think the changes you have made is very, very inspiring. Big kudos to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me, and I hope that I was helpful. And again, contact me if you have any questions.
All right. Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right.